Moving on then to the last topic today, which will be relatively short discussion, because we just really want to point out something again really positive that's going on, and that's what Bournemouth, Christchurch and Poole Council are doing in terms of inviting the public to have their say about how we can improve green spaces. So yet again, if we go to the Dorset Eye article that was published this week, and we're just focused. If I think this actually just go to the very top and just read the first sentence first. Residents are being encouraged to share their ideas for the future of parks and green spaces across Bournemouth, Christchurch and Poole to help shape the green infrastructure strategy that is being developed. And their specific focus, as we can see here, is to increase the level of natural health centres, encouraging everyone outdoors to improve health and well-being through nature walks, outdoor mindfulness, practical conservation, and volunteering and park yoga. Community food growing initiatives, encouraging healthy eating, reconnecting urban communities with the land. Green living rooms, encouraging an outdoor culture by reimagining our open spaces as green living rooms, providing quirky and interesting spaces for outdoor performances, community cafes, outdoor classrooms and natural play trails for children. Green sponges and air conditioning for managing flood risk and keeping the conurbation and the air clean. Urban rewilding, creating more wildlife friendly and less intensive management spaces to encourage native flowers and grasses that attract pollinators, birds and other wildlife, and that obviously links into our No Mow May. Wildlife
still haven't mowed, by the way. Just point that out.
Yeah. Wildlife gardens, encouraging homeowners and developers to consider wildlife-friendly approaches to gardening to help biodiversity, such as bird, bat, and bug boxes and green roofs and garden walls. And you can complete the survey by going on to this article and clicking on the link at the bottom. And that can, feed in with a sort of participatory democratic approach to how BCP organised something really, really positive. And I know you want to say something that we're going to be looking at next week, Tom, about Dorset Council by comparison.
Yeah, we'll have a chat next week about how Dorset Council are doing with green policies and tackling climate change and so forth, having declared a climate emergency a couple of years ago. So we'll explore that next week, but certainly great to see, every week we try and cover some good local initiatives across Dorset, and great to see, Bournemouth and Poole Council here running what seems to be a very genuine consultation process with local people, asking them to input their ideas and thoughts on initiatives such as those outlined there, all of which sound amazing, and some of which I had never heard of, didn't know exactly what they meant, but that obviously sounds great. Contributes to a more pleasant environment for people to live, whilst also contributing to a greener approach to looking after the planet. And there's obviously other ideas too that people put forward. So obviously want to really encourage people to take part in that consultation, and hopefully that sort of thing will be the format for councils across the land, that councils, whether they're city councils, county councils, local parish, town councils, hopefully they will all have green plans, if you like, and those should be informed through consultation with people locally, so everyone has a say. Really, really good. Encourage everyone to take part in that.
Well, as you say, we'll look at Dorset Council next week, and I think Dorset Council probably should watch this particular section. It gives them 7 days up front to try and come up with something quite dramatic to make up for their lack of activity, shall we say, which we'll look at next week, and we'll look at some of the protests and the demonstrations that are being proposed and have taken place that are trying to kickstart something at Dorset Council.
Just a quick thing on a couple of the things that were highlighted there. The bird and bat box is fabulous, and there's also things called nesting bricks. So I know some buildings that have nesting bricks, which are basically hollow bricks, which don't affect the integrity, the structure of a wall if they're spaced out, and there's a few of them. So you can have bat and bird boxes on buildings, including public buildings, but also you can have these nesting bricks, and it's amazing to see them. The parent birds just flying into these tiny holes in the bricks where they've built a nest inside, and you can hear the little ones chirping away, and it's fabulous. The rewilding projects, probably a lot of our viewers have seen those, where you just come across areas where it's not been mowed down to just a bit of a boring green lawn, but various wilder flowers have been encouraged and seeded, and they're absolutely beautiful, these rewilding areas, full of colour, and and butterflies and bees and wasps, everywhere, caterpillars and things. They're just fabulous, those rewilding things. And the other thing I noticed was the thing to try and avoid flooding. And clearly that's something that the Environment Agency have warned about in terms of global warming and climate change, that flooding is going to present massive issues for us as a nation going forward over the next 30, 50, 100 years. There's going to be huge issues for us to deal with in terms of flooding, obviously particularly around coastal regions, but other regions too around rivers. So new measures and ideas to tackle flood risk is very important.
Yeah, and just to finish off a couple of things. The first one is we go to Abbotsbury Swaddery quite a lot, and what they've done for nesting is they get old boots, and it's hang old boots up on fences and stuff like that, and the birds just come along and create nesting spaces in them, and it looks brilliant and it's really good. And of course, the other thing as well is the report that was out, I think yesterday, that suggests that global warming will have a dramatic effect on millions of houses in the UK for a whole range of reasons. So I think it's important that our listeners go and look at some of these reports and some of the conclusions that are being drawn, because they're not talking about 300 or 400 years time, they're talking about in the next few decades. So if you're young and you're looking at buying a house or owning a house, it could dramatically affect you. It could dramatically affect the insurance policies that you have to pay when you purchase that house, and you have to pay annually. So it's not something that other people have to worry about in lowlands where the water's going to be swelling the rivers and swamping them. This is what lots and lots of people are going to be affected by for a whole variety of reasons. So
and that could be subsidence, because of although some areas will be flooded, a lot of areas the ground is going to dry up due to global warming, and that could lead, apparently they say, lead to a lot of subsidence affecting a huge number of houses. Yeah,
exactly. Right, another episode has ended, Tom.
Yes, well, as I say, good luck to the people in Bournemouth, Christchurch and Poole for fill out that survey, and well done to the council there for starting this consultation process.